Hello, I'm Dan Bane, and I often tell people I have the best job in the country because I'm the chairman and CEO of Trader Joe's Company. But this story is really about my teacher, my hero, Mrs. Bidwell. Mrs. Bidwell was my teacher in 6th grade in Southside Elementary School in El Dorado, Arkansas. Now, I didn't grow up in Arkansas. My dad was in the Navy, and between 5th and 6th grade, he got transferred to El Dorado, Arkansas, as the Navy recruiter. And I moved from Southern California as kind of a surfer baseball dude into Southern Arkansas in the late 50s. And it was kind of like falling into the moon. I think the people there, my classmates, didn't understand me, and I certainly didn't understand things like I'm fixing to go to the movies. But fortunately, I had Mrs. Bidwell as my 6th grade teacher, and she kind of interpreted my Orange County speak for the kids in my classroom, and she kind of let them know that I was okay, and everything worked out pretty well. I learned diagramming sentences, learned to love math, but what I really learned from Mrs. Bidwell was how to get along with people. And it's been very, very important for me in the rest of my life and certainly in my business career. Now, one of the real special things about Mrs. Bidwell is that we've stayed in touch. She was in the same church that we were in, and she writes letters to my mother to this day talking about how things are going in El Dorado. And recently, last year, even though she's not feeling well and she's getting along, been 50 years, I got a letter from Mrs. Bidwell where she described a biography of every one of the people that was in my class. You know, who did they get married to, who did they divorce, who survived Vietnam, even who went into the grocery business. You know, it was sort of surprising, but not really, because that's the kind of teacher and that's the kind of hero Mrs. Bidwell was, and is. So another thing that really excites me is that my daughter, Samantha, just graduated with her master's degree in early childhood education and is going to become a teacher like Mrs. Bidwell, one who changes the lives of children and makes positive changes for the rest of their lives. And that's why Mrs. Bidwell, to this day, is my favorite teacher and certainly one of my best heroes.